Welcome to JT's Vintage Card Room, hosted by me, JT. Well, it's National Week, and I'm not going. Maybe some of you aren't going either. I'll tell you the reason I'm not going, and it's not because I don't want to. I do. But I can't justify in my head spending the plane fare to get out there from Jersey to Chicago, the hotels, the incidentals, the foods, what have you. When it's all said and done, I gotta figure you'll spend somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 if you wanted to do it right. Maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less. But that's kind of what I'm figuring it would spend. And I'd really much rather spend that money on cards. And Philly show's coming around the corner in mid-September, I think. And I don't miss the Philly show. And I know most of the dealers there at the National in Chicago will be at the Philly show. Not all of them, but most of them. And I would like to meet some of the other people in the YouTube community one day at one of these get-togethers. But, maybe there'll be one in Philly one day. But maybe I'll shoot down to Strongsville next year. We'll see. But I can't justify going to Chicago and spending that kind of money when it could go towards cards. But I am going to celebrate the national game, that is. Yes, the WG5 National Game set. And the Tom Barker WG6 set. And in case you haven't noticed, I am a Nationals fan. So we're just going to go all National theme today, except that we're not going. This is my special edition Washington Nationals World Series title hat. Big fan of this hat. So I figured I'd wear this for the National Game show that I am doing today. I have a long-standing laugh fest with one Stan Locke. If you're at the National this week, I'm sure you will stop by his table if you are a vintage card aficionado. He has got one of the best setups in Philly for sure. I'm sure he'll be the same at the National. And he just has a lot of great cards. But what he doesn't have are National Game cards because, and he and I go back and forth about this all the time, he says, and I quote from a text I had with him not too long ago, National Game is a deck of cards like Hoyle, not a baseball card set. They sell those in Vegas gift shops. Now, I do know that Stan has a close friend that is a big National Game, Tom Barker game collector, and those two go at it all the time. So I thought it's kind of funny, and I'm sure he's not alone in that thought process. But as far as when it comes to being able to get cards that are 112 years old, of some tremendous Hall of Famers in really nice condition with exceptional pictures, I think National Game is a value that really can't be beat. It's really a great set in my mind, and of course everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but that's my opinion. And I have been going after National Game Hall of Famers for a few years now. I have them all except the Honus Wagner. It is my intention to get a Honus Wagner, but I keep getting outbid on them. If you have one for sale, let me know. I'm looking for one in that 6 to 8 range. Doesn't matter if it's PSA or SGC. I'm not particular when it comes to that. Yeah, I have them all except for that one. And there are some pretty cool cards. So speaking of cards, let's get to them. Like I said, I mostly collect Hall of Famers, but here's one that is not a Hall of Famer. That's Hal Chase. I'm sure a lot of you know the story of Hal Chase. He is was an exceptional ball player, but also a cheater. And, I guess in those days you could maybe even justify some of the cheating that they did because of how little they were compensated by ownership those days. Whether you buy that argument or not is up to you. I'm not sure I do, but needless to say, Hal Chase is certainly an interesting figure in the baseball world. Now some Hall of Famers. Right here we have Chief Bender. And this is what the backs look like on the National Game. This is the WG5. Again, from 1913. Great cards. Here's a Huey Jennings. And again, another portrait of, not a portrait, well, I guess, yeah, not a portrait, but a card of Huey Jennings where he's not jumping up and down doing that EA pose, or however you want to say that, but I'm not a fan of those cards. So I happen to like this one. Here's a Rube Marquard. This is a Tom Barker one. This is the WG6. That's what the back of the Tom Barker looks like. Roger Bresnahan. Roger, I believe, was credited with coming up with the catcher's mask and some other safety issues for catchers. Pretty big deal. And obviously a Hall of Famer. Clark Griffith and Fred Clark, who I mix up all the time. I'm starting to think whether I made a mistake on that Roger Bresnahan. Was it him or was it the guy from the Black Sox, which is not a guilty party? And his name escapes me at the moment, but anyway. Here's a pretty cool image. Here's Miller Huggins. I like the horizontal version of this card. This is actually a 9, not a 6. But look at that. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of T206 and T205, E90-1 American Caramels. Love Cracker Jack sets. I mean, they're all spectacular. But I don't know if how many of those sets have images of this quality, and they're all in that same area. Here's a of time, that is. Here's a home run Baker. Interesting enough that on the game he gets you a home run. I don't know how the game is actually played. Kind of immaterial, but at least to me. There is a version of this card also that has like a Boston Red Sox stamp or a bar stamp from Boston that's pretty rare and quite expensive actually. I don't have that. Here's Sam Crawford. Sam Crawford has some really awesome cards. This is a very nice portrait of him. And we have Connie Mack. This is another Tom Barker version. Sorry for that glare. Love the top hat. Look at that top hat. And another manager, John McGraw. And of course the greatest double play combination of all time from the Chicago Cubs, Tinker. To Evers. To Chance. Interesting. Nice card. The black uniform, I like it. Okay, let's get to some bigger boys. How about Ed Walsh? All-time leader in ERA. Career. Napoleon Lajoie. Here's an interesting card. They have a couple of these in this set. This is the more expensive of the bunch. This has a picture of what most say are Ty Cobb with the umpire in the background. You pay up for a card like this. It is an awesome image of Cobb sliding. It appears to be home. It took me a while to find this one in the condition I was really excited about. So yeah, that's a great card. Here's a Tris Spoke. Smokin' Joe Wood. Nice image of the background of the ballpark on this one. And I call this Grover Cleveland Alexander's rookie card. I know some auction houses have described the Cracker Jack as his rookie card, but that was 1914. This is 13. I don't know if there's another one that's earlier than this. If you're aware of one, please let me know in the comments. But to the best of my knowledge, this is his rookie card. And he's no slouch. I think he's tied for 4th all time with Christy Mathewson in wins. So yeah, that's a big time card. Obviously, does not command the pricing of a Cracker Jack, nor should it, but it is still a beautiful card. Speaking of Christy Mathewson, here's Christy Mathewson card. This one is also a Tom Barker version. I don't know which one I like better. I think I like the National Game background better. I tried looking up who Tom Barker was and I couldn't find it. I don't know if he's the person who just created the cards, or if he was a player at some time, or maybe he had, I don't know, something to do with baseball. I'm sure he did, but anyway. The Big Train. Walter Johnson. It'd been nice if they had him in his throwing motion. That would be really cool, especially on a card that has a little bit more photo of him. Here's Cy Young. I actually missed doing this. I did a video before this on this on this set, and I missed Cy Young, so I had to redo the video because of how do you leave out the all-time leader in wins? I don't think you can. It's looking a little porky in this one. Not that I have anything to say, but Cy Young. And then aside from the Honus Wagner, the 2 biggest cards in the set, and they probably still are the 2 biggest cards in the set. This one's a real big favorite of mine. Shoeless Joe Jackson. There's not a lot of these in this kind of condition. There's a couple of 9s out there. I don't think there's any 10s. I could be wrong. I didn't really check before I did this video. But where else are you going to get a 112-year-old card, playing days card, of Shoeless Joe Jackson for under 5 figures? Maybe this is a little bit more than that in this condition, but still, I mean, his cards are through the moon price-wise. And this has got a tremendous image of Joe. Here's the back. Just a great card. And I think a tremendous value. My all-time grail card would be the E91 American Caramel Shoeless Joe Jackson. I just love that purple background, but this is certainly a better image. And last but not least, there's a guy on eBay, I laugh about this all the time, that has had this card listed on eBay now for probably 4 or 5 years. It used to be $50,000, and he advertises it as the highest graded one of one. And that's not entirely true, because here's another 9.5. His is a 9.5, SGC 9.5, so it's not the only one. And he now has it listed for $100,000. It's been that price for a couple of years. Anyone interested in giving me a quarter of that, I would strongly consider such an offer. But I'm so happy to have this card. I believe there is one PSA 10. So there's basically this one in my hand. The guy on eBay is just trying to sell it for $100,000. It's really just probably making it more like a museum piece. And somebody out there has a PSA 10. Those are the highest grades. And I don't know where you can get a Ty Cobb in a 9.5. Again, for low 5 figures, very low 5 figures. Beautiful card. And in my opinion, a beautiful set. Sorry, Stan. We will agree to disagree. And if you are at the National this year, I hope you have a great time. I hope you find some great cards and have a good avenue to spend or trade paper for cardboard. Again, that's all we're doing, trading paper for cardboard. Do it responsibly, but paper for cardboard. enjoy, everyone. Hope you have a great time at the National. I wish I was there, but I'd love to hear about some of your pickups, and let me know what your thoughts are on National Game Set. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Take care.